parable of the acorn. Maybe it's because I just read Jesus' parable of the sower this morning. Maybe it's because I saw lots of acorns on my prayer walk this morning. Probably it's a little of both. An acorn dropped from a mighty oak tree. Because the tree was near the road, the acorn fell to the hard asphalt and cracked. The surface all around him was hard, and there was no place to put down roots, but before he could even try, a fast-moving car ran him over, and his story was just that, over. A second acorn dropped from another tree. He fell onto the soft soil, but before he could take root, a squirrel picked him up and carried him off. The squirrel scampered across a beautiful lawn, but just as suddenly, something scared the squirrel, and the squirrel dropped the acorn and ran away. The acorn found himself in lush grass with soft soil beneath. He quickly rooted and started to grow, but just as quickly the homeowner started to mow, and the poor little acorn was cut down in his prime. Finally, a third acorn fell at the roots of the trees, surrounded by mighty oaks. The soil was rich, fertilized by the leaves of many autumns. He put down his roots among his fellow oaks and grew quickly in the rich soil. Occasionally there were struggles for light, but before long his roots intertwined with his fellow oaks, and they all grew strong and mighty together. Now, if Jesus was telling this parable, he would say, "For those who have ears to hear, let them hear," but I'm not Jesus. Still, this is a parable, and my hope is it's a simple story to help you understand something not terribly complicated. The acorns are people who are in the process of becoming and being believers. The first acorn represents people who get intrigued by the idea of Jesus, but end up getting smacked by the hard things of life and never get the chance to grow. The second acorn represents someone who hears about Jesus and considers the gospel message, but along comes a squirrely teacher, teaching the squirrely ways of the world, and he gets carried away. He tries to grow, but he's going it alone, and before long he gets mowed down by life and never truly gets rooted in the faith. The third acorn is the believer who finds his way into a Bible-believing church. He gets rooted in the teachings of Scripture and the kind of rich heritage of faith that can only come when you're experiencing it together with other believers. He becomes part of the family of God, the church. Occasionally there are relational struggles, but his spiritual roots intertwined with other believers who will stand with him in the storms of life, comfort and encourage him as he grows and his roots go deeper. Together they will stand strong and firm in this life and beyond. What kind of acorn are you? They will be called oaks of righteousness, a planting of the Lord for the display of his splendor. Isaiah 61:3.